Hi, welcome to Girls with Power Tools. This is Barbara Rainey. I'm a consultant with Slalom Consulting and a Microsoft MVP. I'm passionate about all of Microsoft's power tools. Today we're going to have some fun with flags. Now I don't mean those pieces of fabric with the emblems of the countries on it. What I'm talking about here is also known as tags. So in our data model, in our product table, we have got a field called flags. And it is a semicolon delimited field that has a number of different attributes embedded all smooshed together in one column. And it's not really that helpful to us because, for instance, if we want to go find everything with DVD, we actually have to go and manually find them all or use the search to locate them all, but I still have to actually select them all. So it's not really that handy. So I'm going to show you both a way that you can create a change to your data model to allow slicing on flags a little easier, and also a way to use a custom visual to do the same thing. All right, so we're going to switch up and go over to our query engine. And in the query editor, we have our product query over here on the left side. Now, we're going to create kind of a subtable that basically has the product ID and those flags in it. But instead of having the flags all in one field, we're going to actually split them, but we're going to do it in a pretty unique way. So in order to make a copy of this table, I want it to always be connected to product. So instead of duplicating, which would be kind of like a save as, we're going to do a reference, which is going to be almost a link chain. So any changes that get made to product are going to flow through to my new table. So I only want to keep my ID and my flag, so I'm going to just right-click both and do Remove Other Column. So now I've got those two. And then here's where the tricky part is. In my flags column, I'm now going to use my split, and I'm going to split by delimiter. And you all are going, yeah, Barbara, we've been doing that for a long time. But you've probably been splitting into columns. I'm going to go into Advanced Editor, and I'm going to split into rows. So what it's going to do is it's going to take this product ID 1 that has 3 different flags in it, and it's going to turn it into 3 rows, each with its own flag. Now I have a little bit of an issue with some spaces here, so we're going to go ahead and use the Transform menu and run a trim, and that's going to clean up those extra text that I have. Finally, I don't want this table called Product 2, really like it to be called Flags, so I'm going to rename it here, close and apply, and add it to my data model. Now, as you would expect, the system detected that relationship. As you can see, my flags field now has a relationship to product ID, but it is only in one direction. So because my flag is a many to the 1 on my product table, the filter isn't flowing in the right direction. So even if I were to go to my flags field and make a slicer for my flags, clicking on that slicer has no impact on my report page at all. So we need to go fix that. So we're going to go and turn this relationship into a bidirectional or both direction relationship. That's going to allow anything I filter on the flags to pass through to my product table. So go over here, change my cross filter. You want to use these sparingly because if you have really large tables, this can have a negative impact on your data model. But for things like flags, I think it's definitely worth it. And you'll notice that we've already seen the desired behavior. Here in this flag filter or slicer, I'm sliced to drama, and only those drama flags are showing up in my top 10 list and also in my flag slicer. So it had the right effect. So that's one way to do it. There's yet another way, and that's using a custom visual. So I'm going to remove the slicing on that flag so that it doesn't have any impact. And we're going to go out on the 3 ellipse and grab Import from Marketplace. We're going to go get the text filter. So that should be good enough to get me there. And I'm going to go ahead and add that to the data model. It's called Marketplace now. That's a pretty new change. It used to be called Store. And you'll notice that this little spyglass just came in. That's the text filter. So I'm going to turn this slicer into a text filter and squish it up a little bit. Let's go ahead and put the original flags that have all those values as just a little table here so that we can kind of see them, right? And you'll notice that if I go ahead and put in nonfiction, and I don't even have to put the whole of nonfiction, I can just put nonfic, and it already sliced everything to just those items with nonfiction, right? So that's pretty cool. So, or I can use the same one that I created before, same effect. So it's two different ways of getting to the same behavior in your data model, one by using the new text filter custom visual as a slicer, or you can use that separating your flags into rows and creating a table. So it kind of depends on what your use case is. If your flags are really well known and you really want to have that full word sliceability, then I think this flag approach here is a really nice way to go. If you've got a column such as company name, and maybe you've got 42 companies that all have the word Intel or something in it, then this text filter can be a really nice way to go. Thanks for joining me today on Fun with Flags on Girls with Power Tools. This is Barbara Rainey, signing off.